Hello, entrepreneurs. My name is Bimal Shah. I'm on a mission to make pioneers out of entrepreneurs by helping you achieve your 3 year goal in 1 year that's tied to your 25-year vision and 5 year moonshot. I do it through weekly sprints and 90-day leaps. This is the Pioneers Academy podcast, and I'm on a mission to make a million pioneers. And I thought this podcast channel will help you achieve your 3 year goal and jump to the next level. I'm going to be showing lots of training and lots of great episodes, so join on this podcast and get all the training and resources you need to achieve your 3 year goal in 1 year and make yourself a pioneer. I wrote 13 books, Becoming a Pioneer, and you can get all those 13 books on Amazon. We're going to give away to every listener who listens on this podcast a $100 Amazon gift card so you can get all the books and learn how to become a pioneer.
Welcome to another episode of the Pioneers Academy podcast, where we make pioneers out of entrepreneurs. I'm your host, April, and today we are diving into something that could change how you work forever. And this is automation. We're joined by the ever insightful Bimal Shah, who's here to help us unlock the full potential of automation and show us how to free up our time beyond imagination. So, if you're feeling stuck in the weeds of your business or overwhelmed by repetitive tasks, stay tuned. This episode might just be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Hi, Bimal, and welcome back.
Thank you for having me here. So excited to talk about this topic. It's one of the most important elements in working, in life, in business, and yet the most overlooked in many aspects because people think that it takes time. So, very happy to share the insights on this and talk about this and dive deeper.
Thank you, Bimal. And so, with that, let's go ahead and start this episode. So,
Sure.
Bimal, for my first question to you is that we all do have the same task ever over and over, sometimes daily, weekly, or yearly, but rarely stop to ask what we can automate. Why do you think this is the case, and how can someone begin to discover what needs automating in their life or in businesses?
So we all have that, thing that we get used to. It's called habit. And, so once we start doing one thing and do this over and over again, because it's kind of built into your system, it's built into your protocol. And maybe that's how you believe you make money and you want to, continue doing that because you haven't explored avenues otherwise. So, that's our mindset is structured. Okay, this is our routine, this is our thing, this is what I got to do. And you keep doing that. And when it could be automated, it could be done where you don't have to spend that much time, where you don't have to do things. Maybe there's technology, maybe there's a process, maybe there's a system that can do it and you don't have to do it over and over again. And there's also this fear that if I automate what I do, what would I do? And that's not the case, because once you automate what you do, you free up your time to do other things that are at the next level, that help you increase your capabilities. As you know, we all humans have unlimited potential, and only when we explore our potential we realize that we could do things better, and we can do things better, faster, easier, cheaper, bigger. But you don't know that until you free up your time from what you're doing currently. So that is where automation, that is why kind of people think that I don't want to automate. Or maybe it's like, I don't have the time. Maybe you're so busy doing what you do that you don't have the time, or you're not making the time, because people do have the time to do things. It's just making the time to do things and finding a way to find that time or make that time in your schedule. So that's what I've discovered, one of the main routine examples of why people don't do it.
Thank you, Bimal, for answering that. That's such a powerful perspective, and I love how you frame automation from your own perspective because they might think that automation talks about tech tool, but it starts with the mindset shift. So thank you for that. So now, what's the first comprehensive step someone should take to figure out why and what they need to automate?
So number one thing, I've developed a tool called the Quantum 90-Day Leap. And if you click on the show links below, there's a link called Quantum 90-Day Leap. And that's a tool that helps you think bigger. It helps you integrate your 3-year vision, 5-year moonshot into 90-day intervals. So like, okay, what is the first thing I need to do if I want to get to where I want to go in the next 90 days? And it will give you a framework, of what you need to work on. And it will also give you a framework of what's preventing you from getting there. And, when you discover your own obstacles, you discover the Great Wall of China that's standing in front of you and how you need to overcome it, you will figure out, okay, I need to free up my time from doing what I do so I can get to what I want to do and what I want to achieve. And in order to do that, you may have to look deeper into what you do with your time and say, okay, how can I automate? So, for example, let's take one of the functions in operations. Many people don't have SOPs, or have improper standard operating procedure, SOP, what that stands for. And that could lead into fallacies, and that could lead into mistakes, that could lead into failed or lost customers. A lot of things can go wrong. You don't make money, or customer complaints, things, all of that. But what if you sat down and say, how is this whole process, how is this whole flow going? How can I structure this so that it flows smoothly from beginning to end at every step? It may take you initially some time, 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, but it will save you thousands of hours every year in the long run, and all those stress points that cause you stress on a daily basis. Similarly, take another function of your business, marketing. You can automate campaigns, you can automate SMS campaigns, you can automate how people come to you, you can automate how those posts are reposted, you can automate a lot of different aspects in marketing that could work on a systematic basis, day after day, week after week, and the technology would do the work. There's so many platforms today that do the work. For example, Salesforce has built this whole system, and they're one of the biggest companies. They're $1 billion right now. So, and their whole thing about their whole basis, their whole foundation is building automation for businesses. And you think about that, why is that $1 billion company? Because they put their foundation basis on building automation for business, so people don't have to do, and they can free up their time to do other things, making bigger decisions and expanding, and focus on what's most essential and what's most important. So this Quantum 90-Day Leap tool, will help you determine, how and where you need to focus, and what do you need to do in order to free up your time. And then there are a couple of other things I'm going to talk on how you can take it that to the weekly and daily basis.
Thank you, Bimal. It's such a clear and strategic starting point for everyone out there listening, so they can monitor themselves and figure out which is which. So thank you for that. That's so gold. Systems aren't just checklists. They are the backbone of scaling anything. So I can already see how important this is for long-term success if our listeners is longing for that success. So thank you, Bimal. So now what kind of mindset and time structure does someone need in order to truly embrace this automation?
So the mindset, you have to have is, how can I do things that take me to the next level? Is this my true potential? Whatever you're doing, can someone else, or can something else, or can a system, or can I automate this task? Can I automate this, whatever I'm working on right now? So when you're working on something, before you start the work, ask that question. The second thing is, when can I, block, time blocks are very powerful. So when you block time on your calendar and say, okay, this time I'm not available, because many times I see people use calendar is the most powerful tool, for productivity and for profitability, yet people don't use it. The only thing they use it for is meetings and appointments. So you don't have to use calendar just for meetings and appointments that you have, or phone calls that you have. You can put things that you want to work on. So let's start with a 25-minute block. You set aside a 25-minute block, and you say, okay, in these 25 minutes, I'm going to work on this and see how I can take this. And if you need more time, then you go into the next slot, which is the 90-minute block. So 25-minute, 30-minute blocks, and sometimes you may only need 10-minute blocks, but usually 25 minutes, you will accomplish a lot. You will be able to think through, you'll be thinking through deeper, and you'll be able to give time to shorter, automations. If you need longer automations, you need 90 minutes to 2.5 hours. So depending on the automation that is required and the time that is required, you can block those times on your calendar. And that will, you will discover that by asking yourself these questions, by looking at the 90-day leap tool I built. And I have also, there are two other show links in the show notes before, the optimal weekly sprints and the daily results leadership. Those are trainings on how you can do weekly sprints to achieve your 90-day leap, and on training on how you can take your daily results on a daily basis and achieve the next level growth. So those are two trainings that you want to take. I'm giving it away to all the listeners. So when you're tuning in, just click on the show links, the optimal weekly sprint and daily results leadership. It will help you get there. And now these are the two mindset shifts. Whenever you're working on yourself, ask yourself, can this be eliminated? Can this be automated? Can this be, do I really need to do this? Can a system track technology, structure, process, take care of this task for me? Can I draw up an SOP for this and give it to my team and they handle it, and I can just get a report back from them on how they're doing it so I don't have to do it? So, there are many ways you can do this. And this is where, your mindset of asking questions to yourself and then doing time blocks on your calendar to make it happen can make that happen.
Thank you, Bimal, and I agree with that. And I believe that automation really requires us to pause and create space to think, to assess ourselves, which most entrepreneurs rarely give themselves permissions to do. So thank you for giving us the clarity. So that our listeners, I know that from this point in time, they are now realizing this. So thank you. So
You're
now,
welcome.
Bimal, automation exists everywhere, from cars, planes, cruises, and robots. So why not our business or our money and our lives? So what do you think is the reason?
So, we have seen automation. I mean, if you've ever flown in a flight, you know that, when pilots announce or they say the plane is on autopilot, or they put the plane on autopilot when they're flying if they want to take a break. So, if a plane can fly on autopilot, if a car can go on autopilot, if a cruise can go on autopilot, why can't our lives, to a certain aspects, to certain degrees, go on autopilot? Wait, no, why can't we build that? And it's a thing that can be built, and you can build it. You don't need the smart technology or anything. You have to first ask yourself, what do I need to automate? Everybody is at a different stage in their life, or a different structure, different level, different industry, different profession, different career. And whatever you're working on, asking, how can I automate this? For example, if you're working on marketing campaigns, you can structure a campaign for 90 days, and it may take you, 1 week or 5 hours to do it one time. But then once it's done and you put in rinse and repeat cycle, it's good for 5 years. So 3 years, who knows? You can put it in such a way that with new updates and things like that, it can go on and it can continue. Even if it continues for 1 year, it's well worth it. You've accomplished something that you may have spent thousands of hours. Now it only costs you 5 hours. So that initial investment of time is the biggest blocking factor for many. I don't have the time. I can't, this is going to take too much time. It's in their mind that it's going to take too much time. It's a myth that it's going to take too much time, because once you sit down to do it and you say, I'm committed to doing it, then you will find, oh, it wasn't that bad. It only took me this much time and I was able to do it. And you'd be surprised. The second is, one thing done equals money. So, multitasking is a waste of time. Because if you think about it, you're not really multitasking, you're switch tasking. You're going from one thing to another and you're not focused on either. And, background tasking is different. It's like you listen to music and you're working, or listen to music and you're exercising. That's background tasking. But when you're doing switch tasking, when you're switching from one task to another, it takes you longer to do the same task. So if you're committed to doing one thing at a go and say, I'm not quitting, until this is completely done, and then I'm going to take on the next result that I want to accomplish for the day. And you can ask her, this is the biggest result I can achieve right now in my day today, and it's the biggest victory I can achieve, and it's going to take me much farther. Why should I be doing something else? Why should you be bothered even to do something else? You can put your phone on do not disturb. You can put everything else on DND and just focus on this and get it. Even if it takes you an hour, 90 minutes, whatever it takes to get it done, then you that one thing it made your day. Even if you take a break for the rest of the day, you accomplished and made your day victorious by doing that. So think about that. The one thing concept, focusing on one thing and taking it to the finish line, is something that many people don't have the mindset or the courage to take that bold step and say, I'm not going to worry about everything else. It's not, it can wait. It can wait for another hour. It can wait for another couple hours. That's the courage, that the step that people need to take and say, okay, I'm going to forget it. I'm just going to focus on this thing, because I know if I do this thing, it's going to take me places. And that's what we need to focus on. That's the mindset shift. That's the structure that you need. And all of this, happens when you have the big vision. A lot of people, do you have a clear vision? Do you have a clear place where you want to be 3 years from today? Do you have that big vision, that driving factor, that passion that you need to, do this, and that you're massive, MTP, what they call massive transformative purpose? When you have that, you know what matters to you. You know what's your purpose. You know what's your massive transformation purpose. For example, you want to take Elon Musk, whose MTP is to make space accessible and affordable, for people, for the common man. And so that's where his SpaceX and his vision for SpaceX is, and which he's taking to that next level. Naveen Jain, in one of his companies, Vyome, that he's building, to make chronic illness a choice. My vision and mission, making pioneers out of entrepreneurs. So these things are massive. These are transformative. If you have that, transformative purpose, it can drive you, and you can understand, what's essential, what's important, what do you need to focus on in the moment. So that's those are some of the three key things that you need to focus on when you are trying to build automation in your life, in your money, and even in your money. I had an episode, if you go back and listen, I believe it's called the 3 bucket cash flow system, and how you can automate financial cash flow management and build and multiply your reserves, 3x to 5x or even 10x. So in a matter of 90 days, I'm not talking taking years. I'm just saying in 3 months, you could build up your reserves, exponentially. And reserves are key. Reserves are absolutely key to having you succeed, because they're the fuel. You're on a plane that's going to take off, but you have a runway to go to before you can take off. You don't just fly like that. So, you need to have that reserve. So that episode, if you can go back and listen, it'll talk you how to automate your financial cash flow. So hopefully this gives you some great insights on how to automate your money, life, and business.
Exactly, Bimal. This is really a great insight coming from you. And it's almost like we've accepted it in the world around us, this automation, but it's just that we are hesitant to bring it into our own routines. So, well, from that alone, that really hits home. So, I know that our listeners should assess themselves right now, right at this moment. So, thank you so much for that. And now, you have some tools, right, that you've mentioned a while ago that people can use to build automation. And correct me if I'm wrong, you mentioned that you're going to give it away, a training, an automation training for our listeners. So if you do so, how can they get it?
So if you click on the show links below, the daily results leader and the optimal weekly sprint, those are two trainings that you can get for free, walk you through a complete video that show, I train and educate you on how to take step by step and build automation in your life and with your money and with your business. and take the whole system. So you can access that. It's in the show links below, and there's also other tools called the breakthrough tools. And book number 6, I talk about great technology. So all the different types of technology. I have assessed many different technology platforms with the pros and cons of each, and what it automates, what it doesn't, what it's good for, what it's not good for. So depending on what works for you, you can pick and choose the technology, because you can, once you bring technology into your life and into your business, it makes things easy for you. It makes life easy for you too. So technologies are powerful, and we can't live. Technology has taken us this far, and it's going to take us, much farther too. So technology is a part of our DNA, and we have to accept it. You can call yourself old school, but technology is going to be part of you whether you like it or not. It's just around you. So you access those, and I'm also giving away a $100 Amazon gift card for all the listeners. So anybody who tuned into this podcast or Whatcast, if they're watching it on YouTube, get that $100 Amazon gift card link that's on the show notes before below. And we're launching our 12th book, so you'll be able to access all the books on Amazon for free, using those gift links that are in the $100 Amazon gift card. So that will help you become a pioneer.
Incredibly generous, Bimal. And also, I love how practical those tools are, especially for those who are really ready to take the first step. So you don't need to be a tech expert to start automating. So this training will be a perfect on-ramp for any one of you who would like to take the first step. So check on the show notes. We will uh, put the links that Bimal has mentioned. So thank you so much, everyone, giving us the time, also Bimal, for this another wonderful episode.
Thank you very much, and make yourself a pioneer. Hello, pioneers and entrepreneurs. My name is Bimal Shah. I'm on a mission to make pioneers out of entrepreneurs by helping you achieve your 3-year goal in 1 year that is tied to your 25-year vision and 5-year moonshot. I do it through 90-day leaps and weekly sprints, and through my own proprietary 4-leap system. I've also written 13 books, the Becoming a Pioneer series. I've founded the Pioneers Academy, the Pioneers Platform, and several resources that help you on several different platforms: the Thrive platform, Transform platform, and Transcend platform. So these are resources and tools that I built for you to double your business in a year and scale exponentially and become the only one in your business.